Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're in a different environment today and we have a special mechanical keyboard to review today that we got for free from Banggood, and this is the Kemove DK61 Shadow. It also exists in a white version called the Snowfox. Today we'll be going through a thorough review of it. It's completely honest and my opinions are my own despite me getting it for free. I've actually been wanting to purchase it myself way before this offer even came to me because we thought it was super cool that hot swap mechanical keyboards are becoming so much more common and so much more mainstream. So let's jump into it. So first, this keyboard is a 60% mechanical keyboard. It's got 61 keys. Now, as some of you know, I'm not a big fan of 60% keyboards. That's because they don't have the arrow cluster and they don't have the delete key as a dedicated key. I use that so often. I don't mind the fact that it doesn't have the function row. I can live without that, but after playing some Fortnite recently, we've realized that maybe having a function row isn't so bad after all. So the layout of a keyboard really depends on your preference, but all those things aside, we're just going to talk about the features without really ragging on the layout too much. So as I've said before, this is the Shadow. It's the black version. There's also a white version and it's called the Snowfox. They're both DK61s. Kemove also has DK64s if you are interested in having the arrow keys. It has the same features, just a different look. So the switch options are Gateron red, blue, brown, and black. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get my hands on the black switches, which I've really been wanting to try, but it's just basically a heavier red, a heavier linear. So I have some blacks on the keyboard behind me, but those are different. This one has red switches. As you know, we're a big fan of either linear or tactile switches. I really like having red switches on a mechanical keyboard just to really have the feel and sound that's distinct from the keyboard itself and not really impacted by the switches. This is Bluetooth 5.1, so it's the most recent Bluetooth edition and it's super easy to disconnect and connect to new devices. It can connect up to 3 devices and is really easily swappable between them by pressing FN and either Z, X, or C. So very easy to turn it on Bluetooth mode. There's buttons in the back. There's the on and off on the right hand side, and then on the left hand side you got the Windows and Mac conversion. That's really convenient for Mac users, but they don't really give you keycaps to use with your Mac like the option and command keys. So you'll just have to use it on Mac with the Windows keys. I know some other companies are offering that and are starting to offer more of that as Mac is increasingly becoming a bigger scene in the mechanical keyboard world. A lot of keyboards are worrying about compatibility with Mac, and it's really cool to see that you can just quickly swap between Windows and Mac. However, seeing those extra keycaps would have been really nice. In the box, you get the switch puller, you get the keycap puller. They also give you 3 additional Gateron switches that aren't part of their options that you can buy this keyboard with. They have the Gateron green, which is a clicky switch, the Gateron yellow, which is a mid-level heavy linear switch. It's heavier than red but lighter than black. And then they have the Gateron clear, which is their lightest linear switch. Basically, it's very similar to a speed switch. I believe it's 35 grams of actuation, which is probably the lightest I've ever seen between any mechanical switch. So if gaming is your thing and you're worried about fast responses, that one's for you. They also give you a dust cover, although I never use that, so it's back in the box. And there's a charging cable. It is USB-C. The charging port is on the far left back side of the keyboard, a very convenient place. The charging cable has a right angle degree for some reason, so it'll go out from the keyboard and then turn right or left depending on what direction you choose. The right makes more sense, I suppose, but I would have preferred it to just go straight out and back into the computer. But I guess it's a charging cable, so not meant to be seen on your desk at all times anyways. It comes with double shot shine through PBT keycaps right out of the box. This is really cool since I don't see this too often with many more mainstream mechanical keyboards. I guess Kemove isn't really mainstream anyways, but high quality, thick PBT keycaps is really great. I do have some complaints about the legends. They are simple enough, I suppose. I think it's the sub legends that are hard to read when the lighting is either too bright or too dark, and there's just not a lot of contrast between the sub legends, which are the small printed characters on the keycaps that are under the main letter. So under O we have PB, under M we have delete. So the delete is hard to see, but I guess that's a personal issue. You can see that the sub legends are not shine through. It's only the main legends that are shine through. The sub legends on the number row are the function row, so FN through F12. And then you have all of the other keys on the keyboard that you can't access, like the arrow keys is on the question mark, Alt, menu, and control. FN is on the very far right, so if you hold down FN with your pinky finger and use the arrow keys with your other fingers, that makes it pretty convenient to use. They do have software that you can download on their website. You do have to register an account and then sign into your account to download their software. It's currently in beta edition. I was able to mess around with the macros and some of the keys. The lighting was more difficult for me to play around with. I couldn't get it to just display an all white backlight static light. If some of you know how to do that, like leave a comment down below please, because I've been trying to figure that out. I've just been stuck on the red static color and I'm just not a fan of that, so help me out. So the main feature of this keyboard is that it is hot swappable. It has 3-pin hot swappable sockets that are compatible with pretty much any MX switch out there. If you have 5-pin PCB mounted switches, you are going to have to unfortunately clip off those little 2 plastic legs on the side, and then you can put it in this keyboard. I know some of you may not want to do that because that will make them plate mounted forever and you won't be able to go back to PCB mounted switches. So if you have 3-pin switches or 5-pin switches, you don't really have to worry about it, but this PCB supports only 3-pin switches. So let's talk about the case. I know I always start with the backside first, but the routine has sort of been off. The case has a little bit of flex. It does have a metal backplate, which makes it sturdy, but still a little bit flimsy overall. So here's the flex. I guess you can't hear it at all, but it does move a little bit. And then on the back, we have our 2 rubber feet on either side to adjust that angle. These little rubber things on the feet slide off really easily. Don't think they're adhesive on there by any means, so they just slide off and you can pop them back in. That would probably suck if you lost one of these feet because they slid back out. With the 2 rubber feet additionally at the bottom, you don't have to worry about sliding. And then there's this really big Kemove logo on the back. I sort of like it that the branding is all up on the back here instead of on the front. On the front, you can't really tell what mechanical keyboard it is actually. And then if we look at the side, there is an angle there, and there's also some of the plastic frame peeking out. That is the glossy plastic. And then the outside is more of a matte plastic. So some of you may not like that look. Personally, I think it looks pretty okay. It's fine. On the white version, The matte black part is white, but then the plastic here, the glossy black, still remains black and is in that case as well. And then the back plate is white. So if you spill things into your keycaps and things like that, it may be really visible to see hairs and fur and dust and whatnot. But when the RGB lighting is on, it looks really good against that white back plate. It probably would look better with the white keyboard and the white version of it, with all white case and the all white keycaps too. Wireless is Bluetooth 5.0. With wireless, you only get 6 key rollover, and then wired, you get N key rollover, which means you can press as many keys as you want at the same time and it's still going to register. As far as gaming goes, I really don't recommend you do any gaming on Bluetooth unless it's something really slow like Stardew Valley, on games like League of Legends, Fortnite, FPS games, Valorant, things like that. You probably want to connect it via the wire to reduce your latency as much as possible. As far as the height goes, it's actually the same height as the K6. Surprisingly, with the OEM keycaps, it appears to be taller and the angle is slightly different. But if you replace these keycaps with cherry profile or a lower profile, it can be even lower than this. It does not need a wrist rest from my experience so far. And when I game, I do rest my hand on the table. I've had 0 problems there. With typing, it is fine. No problems there either. And then we did replace all of the Gateron Reds with Lubed Gateron Reds recently as well, from like an old Hotswappable keyboard, and it sounds pretty awesome. The original switches did have some spring ping. As you all know, pretty much every switch has spring ping, no matter how great it is. So if you do have a Hotswappable keyboard, make sure you check out the videos about how to mod your keyboard and really improve the sound and the feel. I'll link that right here so that you can watch that. There's 5 mods to make your keyboard sound and feel better. As always, we have our links to the keycaps we use, the cables, all those things in the description down below. This keyboard currently is on sale on Banggood.com. There's a coupon code and some links, and I'll leave those down below as well. So feel free to peruse the description box as you see fit. As far as all of this keyboard news and what's going on with our life, I'll leave the Instagram account down below where I update stuff like that on stories and in my feed and whatnot too. Overall, this is a really great mechanical keyboard. It's about $90, but it is on sale, so the price will be slightly cheaper. And as always, we'll include a sound test of the keyboard stock. Sounded pretty decent. There's a little bit of hollowness to it, I feel like, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check the links down below if you're interested in the product, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, be sure to check out the mod video. I'll put that right here. And to check out more Hotswappable mechanical keyboards, check that out right here. And subscribe here if you want to. See you in the next one. Bye.